the production of our documentary, we used Adobe Premiere. We used Premiere to edit our documentary together, as well as our radio advert. We use a number of features in Premiere when creating our documentary and also the radio ad. We use speed editing in order to speed up and slow down certain cutaways, and we also used it in our title sequence. We decided to speed our title sequence right up in order to create a chaos sort of look, with loads of people applying makeup to an individual, so therefore the speed duration was a good tool to use. We also used the graphics window, which allowed us to create sufficient graphics for our documentary. The graphics window allowed us to choose from a variety of text in order to add face-off title to our title sequence, but also to add our interviewees' names and titles to the relevant points in the documentary, and allowed us to position it effectively on screen. Here on our soundbar, you can also see how we have used features such as the sound levels in order to adjust the sound in our documentary. The sound level tool was a tool which allowed us to dim sound out over the relevant bit. Therefore, this tool was effective in lowering the sound of our background music in order for it not to drown out the narration, and this was relevant in both our documentary and our radio advert. We could also adjust the sound levels to increase at the relevant bit, but it also was efficient in allowing us to keep a maintained volume throughout our documentary. For the production of our print ad, we used Adobe Photoshop. Here you can see how the background of the image has been deleted. I did this through using tools such as the polygonal lasso tool, and also the magic eraser can also delete the background of the image. As well as this, we also use the feather tool around the edges of the image in order to create a smoother look for the image. For our print advert, we decided to combine two images in order to highlight that both male and female beauty was covered in our documentary. Both images was taken using a different form of media in an SLR camera, and we decided to combine the images through Photoshop. We can see how that the same techniques and tools have been used on this side of the image as the last, and how the background has also been deleted using the same tools. We combined the images as shown in order to create a more powerful image and adjusted the levels so that the facial features lined up. As you can see, we then added the Channel 4 logo, as this is a typical convention of Channel 4 print ads, and we also added the blocks for the background of our text. We then used the text tool to add in our title and our caption for the documentary, as well as the scheduling information. We then added a background to the documentary, and we used the same colour that was used in our title sequence in order to create an element of continuity and create a link between the documentary itself and this print ad. The background was also used as a gradient, as you can see how it is faded out using the blending options on Photoshop's tools. For the filming in our documentary, we used a video camera such as this Sony HD camera. As you can see here, I'm currently using a handheld shot in order to create a bit of variation instead of always using the tripod. The problem with the handheld shot is that the shots are not always stable, and in this case when filming a cutaway, the cutaway is probably not as stable as could be. In order to get more effective filming, we used a tripod in most of our interviews and for our cutaways. As you can see here, the tripod is set up at a relatively reasonable height and the camera is attached on top. I am recording the title sequence for our documentary, and you can also see the light used at the front. The bigger light also projected more onto the person's face so that we could film a more efficient title sequence. During filming, I developed my techniques with a video camera and had not previously used one. I learned how to zoom, how to pan, and how to also track. The video camera has also allowed me how to focus and gives me more confidence in using the video camera. I've also learned how to export onto a computer and also how to attach lights to the camera. Also for our documentary, we used clip-on mics, and I learned how to attach the mic and how to check the audio through the headphones. When we filmed our VoxBox though, we used the big mic in public so that we were not applying it to people in public. This is Blogger. This is the way that I recorded my work through our documentary. It was an effective way of recording work and allows me to label work and plan it well. You can see how that I've used a variety of blogs, such as this one for example, and been able to embed information onto the blog. I've used software such as SlideShare, Prezi, Taggle, Eval and Go, and also Scribd in order to put content onto my blogs. The blogs are an effective way of recording my work and have allowed me to keep on top and track my production. YouTube has been an effective way for me to be able to share and upload my work. You can see how that my evaluation videos have been uploaded to YouTube in order to share, and also it's a good way to share my documentary, as seen here, and the radio trailer. I've been able to add a variety of my documentary analyses onto YouTube, and by creating videos has allowed me to share in more interesting ways. YouTube was also used to collect the archive footage for our documentary, where we have used clips that we have found on the internet and added it into our documentary that we could not film ourselves in order to make our documentary more interesting for the audience. Here we can see another smaller way that I've used technology in my documentary planning. Here we can see how Scribd has been used. I've embedded a Word document onto my blog. I've also used software such as SlideShare in order to share PowerPoints onto my blog, and I've embedded them onto Blogger. You see how this has allowed me to create PowerPoints such as this, my documentary analysis of past documentaries as part of my research for the documentary. Using a variety of software such as this has given me more experience in planning and used in different technologies. This is Taggle, a different software that I used throughout my planning of my documentary. We used Taggle to create a brainstorm as shown on the right hand side of the screen here, and we inputted a variety of different topics that our documentary could be on and put it all into one brainstorm in order to give us a variety of ideas of what to base our documentary on. We come up with this as part of a class discussion in order to get inspiration from each other, and used it when picking our documentary's topics. This is Eval and Go used in the evaluation stages of the documentary. We used Eval and Go in order to get audience feedback on our documentary and see what they thought about our documentary, but we also used it in planning in order to base what we were going to set our documentary on. We can see how that Eval and Go creates a variety of reports for us and gives us tables and graphs such as this in order to give us valuable information about our documentary. We can see how this happens for each question, and how I've been able to use that in my audience feedback to create another entry for my blog. Prezi is another software that I've used in both my planning and evaluation stages. Prezi is an effective way of being able to evaluate documentaries in my planning stages, and also a good way of me evaluating my own documentary, and it is an efficient way of being able to upload it to my blog. Similarly to Prezi, I also use SlideShare in my planning stages, as this was an easy way for me to create PowerPoints and upload them onto my blog, and SlideShare was able to generate an embed code for me, which I just had to enter into Blogger, and then it was on my blog. Websites such as these was also a valuable asset for me to use in order to get the research for my documentary, and give me valuable statistics to use in both the documentary and radio advert.